minus 10 minutes. Minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. T-minus for minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about that, Rick Regan? Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Yes, indeed, we are rocking and rolling into a brand new week, episode number 1743. And loading in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! It's coming. There we go. Yes, the Golden Ticket Sports Center in, if I can read the card here, Scruffy, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Mitchell Scruffy Blair joining me here right out of the gate in a brand new week. And we've got Jared Dumba, the Tulsa King, coming up in hour 2 to talk hockey. Happy Monday, Scruffy. How does the Monday find you so far?
So far, so good. Welcome back to the 306. You're in the home of the old Hillcrest Sports Center, right?
Indeed.
That's what I thought.
Yes. It was a curling club. And it still is a golf course. And we're ready to go. Let's get down to business, everybody, because this first segment goes quick. Scruffy, I'm in Canada where hockey's number one. So that's where we're going to open things up. And I'm kind of interested on your take on Game 3 of the Western Conference Final last night of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tomas Hertl broke a tie at 8:21 of the third period, and the Golden Knights overcame a 3-goal deficit to beat Colorado 5-3 and move to within a victory of their third Stanley Cup final appearance in 9 years. A game away from the sweep. I got to tell you right now, I had a travel nightmare of a weekend. It's all good, but I was in Denver for the first period watching with Avalanche fans. Mitch, they thought they had it in the bag. So did the Avalanche.
No,
that
really?
Didn't happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Colorado fans thinking that their team is going to win? Shocking.
Well, they were up 3-0.
Did they complain when anything went wrong with their team?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Week. We talked about
then I
this
had to get
last
on the
week.
Okay, so what are you? You don't like the Avalanche, do you? You don't like the Avs.
I can't. I have respect for the organization, but I have no time for their fan base. At least some of them.
Well, that's interesting.
No, we talked about that last week.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see the first period. Most of the first period. I had the game on in the background, and I knew that Colorado had jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. I didn't know that Dorofeyev had a goal that was taken back. But then I heard the shorthanded goal to make it 3-0, and I went, wow. Colorado has jumped back. Like, what's going on with Vegas here? And then I sat down at the start of the second period to watch. And I just don't know if Vegas just wasn't ready coming out of the gate to what, because they were the far better team in the final 40 minutes. So I can't really put a finger on it as to why they came out so flat to start off with.
Well, I'm going to tell you, who knows, but they came back and won. So that's all that matters. Now, you say you turned it on after the first. I turned it off after the first. But I kind of had faith that Vegas would come back. I picked them to win the series, and why not go on to win the Stanley Cup? But I will tell you this. I've sensed this through social media and just the people that I've talked to in the brief amount of time that I've been back. Everybody's hating the Golden Knights. And I know there was a lot of hate going back a while, but now there's more than ever. Them hiring Tortorella, not allowing Cassidy to interview, the fact they signed Carter Hart at all. And I don't really want to go too far down this road, but I mean, some people need to like drop the sword or give it a rest. I see somebody that I know writing on Facebook, he's a rapist. I'm not going to cheer for Carter. I'm like, if he was, he'd be in jail. You need to, like these people, the cancel culture, I'll give them credit, Mitch. I'll give them credit. They don't relent. They don't stand down. But Chad Kelly had to put up with it on the weekend, too, on the Argos. I'm like, at what point are you going to realize they've either paid the price or were found not guilty? When are you going to get it through your head? But as far like this hatred towards the Golden Knights, I don't know if that's galvanizing them or if they're just that good. But they're taking Colorado. Well, they don't care. I know that.
They don't care. And we've discussed this when we've talked about the Vegas Golden Knights, even before the Stanley Cup playoffs started. Kelly McCrimmon and George McPhee don't give a flying you-know-what when you think about their organization. You know, the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, when they were in Oakland, had the phrase commitment to excellence. The Knights have stolen that phrase from the Raiders because
Well,
they just want to win. And they don't give a hoot as to what they have to do it.
no, and part of this too is where I just gonna have to turn off social media. I keep getting sucked back into it because when I do ignore it and turn it off, my mood drastically improves. But I see the people saying, "Oh, why didn't the Oilers sign Carter Hart?" Well, we addressed that months ago. They had their chance. That's your team, and they wanted to make a statement by not bringing in the local. Fine, you get what you get. Vegas
Carter
didn't
Hart
care.
made it well known in London, Ontario, when he walked out of that courtroom. Carter Hart made it well known that he was not going to play in Canada for reasons that we've just discussed. And I would say that the others that were acquitted, they have no desire to play in Canada either if they get back into the NHL. And as we know, Carter Hart's the only one of that group that is back in the NHL. The best landing spot for Carter Hart may have been Vegas. Or the southern U.S.
It's all working out perfectly for Carter Hart and the Vegas Golden Knights. And then furthermore, so there's that. There's the people, the Oilers should have signed him. And then Chris Nyland, and trust me, Knuckles can handle it. But I'm not sure if you've had a peek at our Twitter of late, at Rod Pedersen Show. The little clip that I posted where Chris Nyland said on Friday, "I'm really happy for Mitch Marner because they hung that kid out to dry in Toronto." Well, that clip's now at 65,000 views and climbing, and the Leaf fans are all mad. They're like, "Hung him out to dry. We made him the richest paid Leaf of all time." I'm like, oh my God, you lost. Okay, Mitch Marner went on to greater things, and you guys are still chasing your tail. Like that's distasteful too. But in the case of Marner, and Nyland doesn't. People are saying he's got CTE and all that. Maybe he does. Mitch Marner is really rubbing the Leafs' nose in it, is he not? We have less than a minute here.
Rod, Mitch Marner's loving life right now. And he's loving life because part of him knows that Leaf fans are going apoplectic over the fact that he is doing what he's doing. And he might not admit it, but he's loving it, baby. And right now, if you had to pick a Conn Smythe finalist or winner, it's Mitch Marner or Jakub Dobeš.
Yep. And the playoffs are a long ways from being over. Let's remember, especially the Eastern Conference Final, which we'll get to. I mean, we're really only halfway to the Stanley Cup. There's a few guys that can still step forward because I'm still thinking we're going to hear from Logan Stankoven more in this Eastern Conference Final. But hang on, everybody. We got a lot to get to. It's the RP Show, and we'll be right back.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
RP show continues. Same show, same sponsors, different location. We're at the Golden Ticket Sports Center here in Moose Jaw, Canada. I can't get in. It's my bad. I can't get into the text line. Everything's all hooky. I'll get to it after the day. It was a race to get set up here today. Yes. Yeah, I was thinking of another worse, more sweary word than that. So hooky is as good as I can do. By the way, score a touchdown in the Caribbean. Join CFL legend Adam Bighill and Saskatchewan Roughriders Jameer Thurman on a 7-day cruise departing from Fort Lauderdale, February 20th. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for CFL fans. Prices from $18.99 per person, cruise only. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Travel, Neil at uniglobecarefree.ca. The info is on the screen. Point two, and trust me, football fans, we're getting to the CFL preseason weekend, but for the third time in as many rounds this NHL postseason, the Canadians earned a split on the road in the opening two games. They did it against Tampa, they did it against Buffalo, they did it against Carolina. But they want to change that tonight. They want to win 2 at home, but they got to win game 3 to win 2 at home, Mitch. It's 1-1 going into game 3 tonight at the Bell Center, Montreal, Carolina. Somebody said to me today they won't win another game. I think that's just a Hab hater.
Really?
What are your thoughts on this? Yeah. Well, can I pause for 1 sec? Don is watching from Winnipeg. He writes in and he says, Marner and Nikolai Ehlers from trash to treasure. Yeah, I guess you could call this the redemption playoffs too. Throw Carter Hart in on that as well. But the Montreal-Carolina series, what are your thoughts?
It's been a good series. The Carolina Hurricanes have come oh so close to keeping their Eastern Conference final winless drought going after they got that overtime win on Saturday. Bell Center's going to be hopping tonight. You know what it's like to be in that barn for a regular season game, as do I. I think that Montreal, maybe, in the first 2 rounds, maybe they were a little bit guilty of, oh my God, what are we in here because of that crazy crowd? But I think tonight, they're going to be right there with Carolina. And it wouldn't surprise me if we see another 1-goal game or a game decided in overtime, because there's not a lot separating these two teams. And game 1, Montreal blew the doors off of Carolina. You can start that rest versus rust argument. But I think tonight we're going to see another one of those 3-2 games. Might that third goal come in overtime? It very well could. But I think Montreal can win this game. Roddy, I think Montreal can win the Stanley Cup.
Well, we're down to the final 4.
With no disregard to the Vegas Golden Knights.
Any of these 4, if they won the Stanley Cup, we wouldn't be surprised. And before I switch to football for a second, let me throw out the poll question today. It's for Country Thunder. The biggest party of the summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson, Creed, and the RP Show. Get your tickets now, countrythunder.com/SK. Whole question, Mitch, is what do you care more for? The Memorial Cup, the World Hockey Championships, or neither? I mean, the second I flew across the 49th parallel, it was all about hockey talk, and I know people are really into the Worlds. I've never been, for reasons I said last week. I know players that have gone there and said it's nothing but a big party, and if they don't care, why would I care? So it's very clearly the memmer for me. But that's just me. What are you voting for?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
I think I like the World Hockey Championships, and I think one of the reasons why I like them is because, games are on right now, because the games are on in Europe. And the games are on right now, so you can get up and watch hockey in the morning when you get up. With the Memorial Cup, I love the Memorial Cup because I love my junior hockey. And it's been great having this tournament in Kelowna because the NHL game ends and the Memorial Cup game has just started. So last night when that game ended in Vegas, there was still like about 9 minutes to go in the second period of the Kelowna-Chicoutimi game. But I love my junior hockey. I'd have to go with the Memorial Cup because I'm just that guy that loves my junior hockey, much like you. And, we've been born and bred at the Brandt Center watching the Pats and obviously, the Warriors and the Broncos and the Raiders. The Blades,
to me,
we're born on junior hockey.
To me, it's the best hockey tournament on the planet. That's just me. But first hockey tournament I was ever at, big time, was the Memorial Cup in 1980 in Regina. Anyways, a baseball note, Jays manager John Schneider said he's hopeful that his club avoided serious injuries to righty Dylan Cease and all-star first baseman Vladdy, who were lifted from Sunday's 4-1 loss to the Pirates. Cease exited the game with 2 outs in the fifth with left hamstring discomfort, which, by the way, I have right hamstring discomfort, but I showed up today. Meanwhile, Guerrero was removed.
Body discomfort.
Right. Guerrero was removed during the bottom of the fifth with a right elbow contusion after he was hit with a pitch. Okay. Point 4 is the CFL. And it's in my Monday morning goalie column, if you just can't wait. I went through all of the results of the weekend. Jake Mayer led Ottawa to a 27-12 victory over Montreal on Friday night. Kicker Brett Lauther didn't play for the Red Blacks, nor did quarterback Drew Brown. Cody Fajardo threw for 26 yards as the Edmonton Elkamos beat the BC Lions 34-16 in Langford, BC. Toronto-Hamilton game, Mitch, was one I think I would have really liked to watch. The Argos won 20-10. They used Chad Kelly, Nick Arbuckle. They used all their quarterbacks. Ticats used Trey Ford, Jake Delagala, and Bo Levi Mitchell. And then, of course, the marquee game for our viewers was Saturday. The Saskatchewan Roughriders beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 31-27 at Griffith Stadium, and I watched it on CFL Plus. It looked magnificent at Griffith Stadium. What did you think?
I didn't watch the game because my thoughts on CFL preseason football, but the pictures I saw were tremendous. I had some people that were at the game that said it looked a lot like a Rams-Huskies game when it's homecoming for the Huskies, that the crowd was maybe similar. I didn't get the exact crowd count, but I know that Rams-Huskies games have had close to 9,000 people in there. I don't know what the attendance was. Riders win the football game. It's a storybook ending. The hometown kid, Daniel Weeb, catching the touchdown pass in the final, minute to beat the Bombers. And now the Riders just sort of fade off into oblivion until week 2 of the CFL season as they get 3 weeks off. And I talked about that in my column to your website this week. CFL. Come on. You haven't got your new website as promised. You haven't got your new app. Your fantasy thing still isn't up. The season is here, and you've got the defending champs not playing until week 2. What are we doing here?
Well, Mitch can be Mr. Poopy Pants if he wants. I'm trying to keep it positive. You're not wrong. You're not wrong on all of those things. But I'll say this. I did tune it in, and I loved it. And I saw a figure, Mitch, somewhere along the line of 7,596 at Griffith Stadium. So all I'm saying is when I tune it in, and if it were to have been on television, anybody watching it would go, wow, that looks amazing. I'd like to be there. versus these huge empty stadiums like Commonwealth and McMahon.
Yeah,
and
exactly. I'll give you that.
At times,
you know,
Mosaic.
Yeah. I was just going to say, when you take a look at the pictures from Calgary, when the Riders played in Calgary in the first opening preseason game, and then you take a look at the Riders in Saskatoon, it's like apples and oranges, which isn't good for Calgary, but no, I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to it. I went kind of deep in my Monday morning Goalie column. It's up at rodpedersen.com right now, and as part of our newsletter, I'm like, I don't know what the answer is. All I know is it looked great on TV. So if they need to take all preseason games to neutral sites in the years ahead, then I would say do it. I'm an NBA fan because I saw Minnesota play Atlanta in Sass Place in like 1993. I don't talk about the NBA here because our viewers don't care, but I keep my eye on things. I'm a fan because I went to a neutral site game and it was awesome. Dikembe Mutombo in intimidating force. It was amazing. Now, to the audience, Mitchell, Brian in Winnipeg says, the answer to your poll question is neither. So I'm not answering. What do you like better? The Memorial Cup or the Worlds, which is fine. Jason in Red Deer writes and he says 61% say the World Hockey Championship, 39% say the Memmer. Kevin the Medium, born in Vancouver, but lived in Calgary for the last 20 years. Now he's living in Sask. He says nobody cares about junior hockey like Saskatchewan and you people. And I'm like, fair. He's not saying that as an insult, but he's just saying it's way bigger in Saskatchewan than anywhere else. I'm like, it is what it is. I'm just not. Can I like what I like?
I disagree with that statement. I think the junior hockey means a lot to the people in Ontario, and I think the Western Hockey League means a lot to people in Saskatchewan, obviously, but I think in Alberta it's just as big. And I can't speak for the West Coast, but the league's thriving, man, and there's a reason why.
Right. Well, I love it, and so does Mitch. And we're the ones that have the microphones. Back to the games. Rob from Las Vegas was at the game in Saskatoon. He says it was the best CFL preseason game he's ever seen. He's a Bomber fan. He was there live. Riders, Bombers. It was very exciting. It was a well-played game. And I get what Mitch is saying. The Riders look tight and composed and ready to go. And now they got to sit in a bye in week 1 as the Grey Cup champions. It makes no sense. But what would the CFL be if it made sense? We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves if the league actually made sense. It would be
That's a very good
so
point.
weird.
And you know, it's funny because people go, well, this is Commissioner Stuart Johnston again. Well, no, it's not. It's Stuart Johnston. It's Randy Ambrosie. It's Jeffrey Orange. It's Mark Cohan. Whoever it was before Cohan. Tom Wright. This league just can't get its you-know-what together. And until it does, they're always going to be a B league.
Well, and that's why I was saying this to somebody. I was talking to Moose on the phone. I said, I just want to be a fan. I just want to watch the games. I'm not going to get into the inner minutiae of the schedule this, the schedule that, which teams made money, which ones don't, what's the attendance here. I don't care. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care. I love the league. I love the games. I love the players. I love the coaches. I'm not going to get into the rest of the crap. Period. Vancouver Eric writes in regarding the Stanley Cup final, and this is a good point. He says, I can't watch a Canes versus Knights final for his own reasons, but Utah Darren wrote in last week and said he doesn't like the Hurricanes owner. And I didn't know that he's the same owner as the Portland Trailblazers, and he's systematically destroying that franchise. But he's done great with Carolina. So I guess he's destroying Portland. Again, I don't care. I just want to be a fan, and I think that's okay. That is also my right. But for Vancouver, I'm assuming Vancouver Eric didn't want to cheer for those teams because of the owners or whatever. Would you not cheer for a team because of an owner? Really?
Who?
You got to think about it, don't you? You got to think about it.
You know, you know what? I guess it depends on who it was, and I take a look at my teams, and and the Edmonton Oilers owner certainly isn't. No, I don't think I would, unless it was. Well, I don't know. Maybe if that idiot in Washington had ownership of a professional sports team, I might not be interested in them. But that to me doesn't matter. It's just like all these people that talk about jerseys. Like, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. It's the guy inside them that's playing the game. And whether they're wearing black or red or orange, like whatever. The jersey
Well, that's
doesn't
where
tell you if it's a win or a loss.
that's where we're rare. There's way more of the people that think the other way than the way that you and I think. But I look at it. Who are the teams that I'm really fans of? The Dallas Cowboys. I don't like Jerry Jones. I don't like him at all. But it doesn't stop me from cheering for the Dallas Cowboys. And that is my team. The Blue Jays are my baseball team. Rogers owns them. I have no problem for Rogers. I used to work for them. I don't have a problem with Rogers. I mean, I don't. Again, if the fans have issues with the owners, that's totally their right. But I kind of think you're missing out a little bit. Jason in Red Deer says, do the CFL issues go beyond the commissioner? Maybe you weren't listening. I don't care. I put a thing out late last week about our supporting Stuart Johnston in the CFL, and it was like hundreds of comments of people calling me a lackey and a sellout, and because I'm supporting the CFL.
Rob, these people have you talked in the first segment about the cancel culture thing. These idiots that are sitting there, get rid of Stuart Johnston, the league's dead. No, you know what? It's not. And you idiots that sit there and say,
oh, it was good. He was on a good one. Scruffy was in one. Hang on. We'll be right back here on a Monday on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean, Brody, and the Wreck Loss teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
Two of Canada's biggest country acts. One stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour. Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at saskpix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's a Monday. It's the RP Show. Just keeping it rolling here. By the way, when we talk hockey, it's for the Mad Greek Eatery right here in Moose Jaw. Whether it's pizza, ribs, or authentic Greek favorites, it's good. It's good. It's the Mad Greek Eatery. Open until 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in at themadgreekeatery.com. I was asking the viewers, does the owner make you not want to cheer for the team? Tony from Cochrane says, Harold Ballard owning the Leafs made me turn to the Blackhawks as my team. That was when there was only 6 teams. And hey, I get it, man. Like, I've gotten to be close with Lanny McDonald, Jamie McCowan, a lot of Rick Vive. Those guys won't even talk about their days as a Leaf. They won't talk about it. It was that bad. It must have been bad, Mitch. So I get it.
When you mentioned that, I was sort of thinking about it. I have a friend that's he was a Cincinnati Reds fan, and he gave up on that when Marge Schott was the owner, and he had enough when Marge Schott actually got angry when opening day was canceled after the umpire had the fatal heart attack and died like 3 pitches into the season. And Marge Schott was absolutely ballistic that this game should have went on. And he just said, you know what, I've had enough. I can't cheer for that team anymore as long as she's there. So
she seemed like an interesting old gal to me. She's the one that always had the dog. She had the dog with her. Right, all the time. That lady was a movie. Marge Schott. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Okay, where were we? Were we anywhere, Mitch? On Instagram,
well, I was just saying, these people, you're talking about the Stuart Johnston thing. And these people that complain about the CFL and the rule changes coming up and everything. You know what? I'm so tired of these people that sit there and talk a big game. I'm never going to watch the CFL. Yeah, you are. I know somebody, Rod, and I'm not going to put a name out there, but I know somebody who, when Craig Reynolds and Jeremy O'Day were retained by the Saskatchewan Roughriders after the back-to-back 6-win seasons and Craig Dickinson was let go, he was furious. That's it. I'm not going to another game and canceling my season tickets. I saw him 2 weeks ago. And he's all decked out in Ryder Grey Cup garb, and he's saying how they're going to repeat. Did you get season tickets again this year? Of course I did. Why wouldn't I?
I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because a lot of people wrote into our Facebook page on the Stuart Johnston post and said that they're walking away. They're done with the CFL, and I don't believe it either. The problem is, I don't know about you, but you know me well enough. If I say that I'm done, I'm done. I'm done. That's why I live in Florida. So I want to take people at their word. You know what I mean? But now I'm like, you're still going to watch. You're still going to watch. I don't believe that they're walking away either. So I'm glad that you said that, but it took me a while to realize that.
Boy, Nelson, I got someone angry this weekend. Winnipeg's first home game is sold out. And the Riders' first home game isn't. So no, Winnipeg got better fans than the Riders.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that was going to poke a nerve to somebody.
You knew that. You knew exactly what you were doing. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes, then he says, it's easy to say as a Vegas fan, but whatever it takes, right? Not cheering based on the owner is big in soccer. Well, that's why I'm not the biggest soccer guy. But it's funny, he brings up, he's a Golden Knights fan who didn't care where Carter Hart came from or John Tortorella or what they're doing with Cassidy. They don't. It's like the Patriots. Brady, Belichick, Kraft are freaking gods there. It don't matter what they do. They had a mass murderer. Well, I guess, was Aaron Hernandez technically a serial killer? I think he was. On the roster.
I put him in that category.
He's one of them. So they don't care. Like, literally,
are the Vegas
just win.
Golden Knights the New England Patriots 2.0?
I think they're the Raiders 2.0, the good Raiders 2.0. I mean, they haven't broken any rules. That's the part that's annoying me the most.
Yeah.
No, you think, what have I told you a million times? I've known Kelly McCrimmon since I was 16. I know the man inside out. He knows me inside out. He knows those contracts inside out. So that's why I'm getting a real bang out of the media that's trying to take him to task. It's not fair that you're not letting Bruce Cassidy. Where does it say that? Like, take your crusade up to a labor lawyer, not a news conference with Kelly McCrimmon. And I think the big part of this, Mitch, is the more that they win, the more it's pissing off certain people. I don't understand why. I'll say it again. Golden Knights haven't been disciplined. Well, they've been disciplined for not having a news conference, okay? Yeah. Lost their second-round pick and a $100,000 fine. What did you think of that, by the way? I was shocked that they got nailed that bad.
I was too. And I think at the end of the day, they'll probably get the second-round pick back. I don't know the full backstory as to why John Tortorella decided to do this, especially after a win. And part of me does think that the NHL maybe was trying to say to Vegas, look, we're sick and tired of your crap and what you're doing here because you're making the league look bad. So we're going to bring the hammer down on you. Because, you know what, we can sit here and talk all we want. You're right. And we talked about it, I think, a couple of weeks ago when the Cassidy story first came out. The Vegas Golden Knights can do whatever they want. Much like the Leafs could say nobody's talking to Craig Berube, and you know, the Oilers could say nobody's talking to Chris Knobloch. But those teams allow those guys to do that. The Knights don't want to for whatever reason. Now, the NHL Coaches Association is against it. You know that the NHL doesn't like it because it's bad press for them. But nowhere does it state that the Vegas Golden Knights have to allow Bruce Cassidy. Does it suck? Yes. Do the Knights care? No. So I think the NHL did maybe use the thing with Tortorella not speaking to the press. I think they maybe went a little bit overboard, but I think maybe they sent a message to the Knights going, you know what? We're tired of the crap that you guys are pulling, so we're going to do this. And what do the Knights say? We don't give a you-know-what. Because we're 5 wins away from getting the ultimate prize.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, it's funny because just back this up a little bit, and we're running out of time here, but Tony from Cochrane brought up a great point. If Carter Hart were to win the Conn Smythe, which, by the way, nobody's talking about Carter Hart winning the Conn Smythe. It's Mitch Marner, as you said, or Dolbish, but he could. There's consideration.
He could.
Right. He says, would Bettman veto that?
No.
He also could. No, I don't. Yeah, he can.
No, there's no way.
Yes,
but here's the thing, Rod. Here's the thing. Those that vote for the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, they're not going to vote for Carter Hart.
No, you're right. And those are the media.
Elliot Friedman, he makes an innocuous comment at the trade deadline, and people tried to cancel Elliot.
About what? I don't remember that one.
He made some innocuous comment during the trade deadline about chasing somebody. It's like dating a woman. And people went after him. It's like, come on, people. Like, at some point.
It was, you know what it was? It was about asking out a hot girl, and she keeps telling you no, and you basically keep asking and wear her down.
Right.
Which, from the man's code, it's kind of what you do. So, what are you going to say?
Some cases it worked. Other cases, you're getting a slap across the face in a bar in Edmonton.
Hey.
Not that I know about
Speaking from experience.
Back in my Peace River days.
Or Montreal, producer Corey says. Okay, we got a lot of great comments from the viewers coming in, as always. We only got 90 seconds left with you. Dang, this went fast. What do you got? What's your last word for the day?
Nothing. It's Memorial Day in the U.S., so it's going to be a lot of baseball action this afternoon. Cubs trying to break an 8-game losing skid at Pittsburgh today. They're playing bad ball right now. I think it's going to be a good hockey game tonight, Montreal and Carolina. And who do we get in the Mem Cup tonight? It's Kitchener and
Everett. Battle of 1-0 teams.
Everett, which I think will be a finals preview.
That's what Les Lazaruk's saying.
Tip team is good, Rod. I didn't realize how good they were until I started watching them play PA. Man, they're good. So good.
Rob from Las Vegas says Rod and Scruffy for CFL co-commissioners. No thanks. Mitch might want the job.
Why?
Can I do it from Florida? Okay.
Jeffrey Orange did.
902-518-3033. I'll get the text line figured out in the break for Western Dodge. Mitchell, go have a great Saskatchewan day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Be right back on the RP Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Life is beautiful, isn't it? We're slowly getting this figured out. Back on the air, where we'll be all summer long here at the Golden Ticket Sports Center, and yes, the Hillcrest Golf Club in Moose Jaw. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. Glenn in Medicine Hat writes in, he says, the Hillcrest Golf Club. Wow. Played there in the 1981 SAS Junior Championship. Beautiful. It's really beautiful. Let me slow this all down, and I'll get to some story time here in a sec, because that's always fun too. Brent in Saskatoon writes in, he says, I love listening and watching to guys like Scruffy. That's why he's on here. He's entertaining. As time goes on and more viewers find us, we're airing in a variety of different networks. I don't know where or when we're on. It's all different times. But people are saying, we really like your voice. We watch Rock because we like your voice. Scruffy's so entertaining. It's kind of what we're supposed to be doing here. It's kind of the name of the game. When asked if I would consider being the commissioner of the CFL along with Scruffy, co-commissioners, I said only if I could do it from Florida. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes in, he says, Robert Wettenhall ran the Alouettes from Florida. As long as you have the right people in place, anything is possible. I'm just not sure that I really want to do that. And a couple things on that. I heard an interview last week with Brian Burke on NHL Radio about co-GMs, and Berkey had a really, really good point to the degree, and he always does, to the degree that I've been thinking about it ever since, on a variety of things. He goes, co-this, co-that. He goes, like the co-GMs in Montreal, Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes, is working. He goes, it's working, clearly. I think that's where he was talking about it. But he said in Vancouver, it's not going to work with the Canucks. He goes, have you ever seen two guys drive a car? You can't. It's not possible. Only one guy can have his hands on the wheel. That was from Berkey. So Scruffy and I to be co-commissioners of the CF. Why would we do that? And then the other thing is, as far as Florida, I'm more than happy to be here. That's why I do it every summer, to come back to Canada. But my friends in Florida are just they were freaking out. I will say it right now, and if I'm telling you like this, I'm telling you the truth. They're like, why are you going to Canada? Because I always do, and I love it. It's too hot here. It's too hot there. My skin was starting to bubble and blotch. I'm like, my Anglo-Saxon, German, Danish roots are not made for Florida. It's just not. So I appreciate the concern, and I'm not going to war. I'll be back in 3 months. Don't worry about it. But it was nice. Really love that place, but not in the summer. And I really, really, really love it here, obviously. For whatever reason, it took a lot of people time to believe that or get onto it. I don't know why, but I really love it here. John which, by the way, the gong did not make its way north. I couldn't bring everything. The gazoo did, Laura's bell did, the gong did not. So just trust me. He says, free speech ain't free in pro sports, baby. That's the one thing I got so many people saying to me in sports. They're like, you're so lucky. I'm like, yeah, why is that? Well, you don't have to worry about what you say. You don't have anybody to answer to. I'm like, we all have somebody to answer to. But I get what you're saying. Which, furthermore, I ran into Randy Moeller in downtown New York, Manhattan, like 2 blocks from Madison Square Garden, about 6 weeks ago, the color voice of the Panthers. Like, literally, pop right into head-to-head with him on the corner. He's like, what are you doing down here? I said, I'm scouting out my day tomorrow, because right after the Panthers-Rangers game, I gotta stow my gear and race out to the airport to fly home. I said, you're so lucky that you travel on the bus with the team and on the plane, the jet with the team. He said, oh, I know. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass. I understand that's how the rest of the public goes. Don't worry, I'm not complaining here. But as I was sitting in the airport in Fort Lauderdale for 5 hours on Saturday because of travel snafus and missed my connecting flight from Denver to Regina, spent the night in Denver, no luggage, no paddle, like literally up the creek without a paddle. I'm like, maybe I should go back to traveling with a team again, because this is a major pain in the ass. But then I thought about my friends who have stage 5 cancer. I'm like, they would love to be in this position right now. Chill out. So I did. And then Sunday, I called Moose, and I was walking around Aurora, Colorado, went to a Starbucks, talking to Moose, had my feet up, looking at the Rocky Mountains, and I'm like, the snow-capped Rocky Mountains. I'm like, this ain't so bad. This ain't so bad. Brent in the Bridge City writes in, he goes, it's nice having you back in the 306 country, Rod. Thank you, Brent. It's nice to be back. By the way, from the text line, I did get it open. I'm not that dumb. 902-518-3033. Wilf writes in, and he says, hi, Rod and Scruffy. He's in Steinbach, Manitoba. He says, the Bombers sell the experience. They sold season tickets for standing room at the Rum Hut. Well, the Bombers got it going on. And, Mitch was trolling when he said earlier that the Bombers have better fans than the Riders. I'm not stepping foot in that. I know why he did it. I don't know if he actually believes it or not, but I will say this. Went to a Bomber game against the Argos way back when we launched this show, summer 2021, and we went out there for the Canadian Lacrosse Championships. We were doing the show from Canada Life Center, and the buzz in Winnipeg. The Bombers gave us tickets. It was awesome. Went to the game, but they were said you got to be at that time, whatever they called it then, IG Field, an hour before the game. There's $5 burgers, $5 beers, $5 hot dogs. We got out there an hour before the game. The concourses were packed. It was jammed. Jim Hobson, the former Rider president, who's not with us anymore, was looking at my social media of it. He called me and he goes, "What are they doing out there?" I told him exactly what they were doing. He goes, "Is Wade Miller behind that? Is that Wade's idea?" I said, "I don't know, but they're doing it. Winnipeg's got it going on." I'm not afraid to say it. But that's different than saying their fans are better than Rider fans. I'm not stepping in that one. Nope. 902-518-3033. Off-roading. I guess I'll throw this in sports update. It's part of my quick six show topics. I never got to them all, but that's okay because Scruffy and I were having so much fun. Liam Lefebvre's second goal of the night, scored at 5:28 of 3-on-3 overtime, lifted the Chicoutimi Saguenay to a 3-2 victory over the Kelowna Rockets at the Memorial Cup Sunday night. The Everett Silvertips and Kitchener Rangers play tonight in a showdown of 1-0 teams. The Rangers open the tournament with a 5-0 win over the host Rockets, while the Silvertips slip past the Sags, as we call them, 5-3 on Saturday. And by the way, this is our poll question. What do you care more about, the Memorial Cup, the World Hockey Championships, or neither? Some people are voting for neither. That's rude. But I put it in there because I know there are some of you. Macklin Celebrini capped a 4-goal third period, just 9:21 into the final frame as Canada surged past Slovakia 5-1 Sunday in Group A play at the Ice Hockey World Championship. Canada will next play Czechia in the final game of the preliminary round on Tuesday before the quarterfinals begin on Thursday. So there is your sports report for the, hockey report. How about that? For the Mad Greek and also the Ultimate Fan Zone. Are you looking for the hottest fan gear? Swing by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store in Moose Jaw or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca where real fans get their gear. It's been a fun show so far. Jared Dumba joins us next hour to talk about Stanley Cup playoffs, probably a little bit of the memory. If you cut Jared's head open, a puck would fall out. That's all he really cares about. I think we did a good enough job getting to the CFL and Canadian sports here on hour one. It's interesting that Mitch, he doesn't care at all about the Toronto Blue Jays. Never has. He's a Cubs fan since before there even was a Toronto Blue Jays team, and you can't blame him for that. But they're also, what I say, story time. I go back to this Vegas thing, and we'll talk way more about it next hour when we go to air across Nevada. But with Bruce Cassidy not being allowed to interview with the Oilers because he's still being paid by Vegas, I've alluded to, I said this last week, I put it in my column today. When I was fired as voice of the Roughriders 7 years ago by CKRM, I was given a year-long payout. I was actually due 2 years, but I said, just give me one, let's call it a day. And it was this long list of points, I guess, that I had to adhere to, and I didn't have a problem with any of them. And to this day, I don't, because everything worked out fine. But one was I couldn't be on the radio in the province for a year. Couldn't speak about the terms of why I was like, it's all good, as if I was going to. And, I will tell you that at that time, within a week, I had an offer from the competing radio station. They said, when can you start? I had offers from Sportsnet. I had offers from TSN, but I wasn't really interested in leaving, and I didn't need the money. And when Moose came to me and said, would you be interested in hosting the Rod Pedersen show? I said, oh, good. Where's he going to air? He goes, Facebook Live. I'm like, that's not that crazy. And it doesn't violate the terms of my agreement because it didn't say anywhere that I couldn't be on the air streaming. And that's how this show was launched 6 months after I left that job. But again, I could have gone to Toronto. I could have gone to Calgary. I didn't want to. At that time of my life, I didn't want to leave this place. And now it's worked all out fine. We'll get to the more of these comments. There's some good ones here when we come back in hour 2. Scott Ford writes in, he says, Golden Knights are another golden ticket idea, just like the Golden Girls, Golden Grahams, Golden Nugget Sports, Golden Corral. Thank you for that, Scott. John says, jet travel is a big hassle these days. There's a lot of tricks. Some of them I took advantage of. Some of them I ignored, and it bit me in the butt. But I fly on Saturdays in the event of what happened this past weekend. Because if there was a Sunday, I'd be screwed and I wouldn't be on the air here today. Having an extra day gave me the buffer to get here in time. Should have flown first thing in the morning because that nullifies the chance of connecting issues. I should have done that, but I didn't. But again, it worked out just fine. I got to spend all expenses paid trip in Denver. Had a good time. Denver's a nice town. We'll be back with hour 2 right after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
All aboard the RP Show train, choo-choo, leaving the station, and it just dawned on me It just dawned on me for our Nevada viewers as we welcome them in on Silver State Sports. They have not seen an RP show from this venue. In a moment, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Episode number 1743 of your favorite daytime sports talk show, joining you from the Golden Ticket Sports Center in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. It's our summer home, and all these great stories are flashing through my mind that I never did get to last hour as we aired on YouTube Live and still are, and Game Plus streaming and podcast and WQVZ radio. Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. A lot of you know where it is. A lot of you do not. It's pretty much the geographical center of the continent. It's where I spend my summers, broadcast baseball, and that's where we are broadcasting from today. Our guest coming up in the next segment is Jared Dumba from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. He wants to talk Stanley Cup playoffs because we're down to the Final Four. And I didn't even bring this up in hour one with Scruffy, but the Vegas Golden Knights are one win away from the S word, which we didn't even bring it up. I don't mind. Like, I believe in the hockey gods. I believe in God. That's been well established. But I don't believe in the fact that if I bring up the word sweep, that it's going to jinx the Golden Knights. If I bring up the word shutout, that it's going to jinx the goalie. I don't. But let me tell you just a quick story. I flew in here. I won't go through the whole thing. I was supposed to get here Saturday. Didn't happen. Had overnight in Denver. Spent the whole day in Denver, which was actually nice. Really enjoyed that town. But I flew in here with a bunch of baseball players, NCAA baseball players, where I broadcast baseball in the summer in the Western Canadian Baseball League. I was the very last guy to go through the customs line. And I'm like, oh boy, I don't sweat anymore at all. I've got all the necessary paperwork and all that. It's all good. I'm like, let's just do this. And I walked up to the guy and I said, bonjour, bonsoir, hello. And he goes, I look at my face, Rod, so you're living in Florida now, huh? I wondered where you were. First guy I saw on Canadian soil, the customs guard. Hey, Rod, you're in Florida now? Cool. You with all these baseball guys? Yes, I am. And the kid sitting across the aisle from me on the plane, I said, hey, he had a baseball mitt glove on his knee. I think he's a baseball player. That's what I thought. So I said to him, who are you going to play with this summer? He goes, the Regina Red Sox. Let's fix that right now. Anyways, okay. Away we go with the quick six show topics in the warm-up, brought to you by our friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the preferred travel partner of the RP show and the BC Lions of the Canadian Football League. When it comes to sports trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. Point one, the big story, and it really is the big stories in my world, which transcends both sides of the border. Tomas Hertl broke a tie at 8:21 of the third period, and the Vegas Golden Knights overcame a 3-goal deficit Sunday to beat Colorado 5-3 and move within a victory of their third Stanley Cup final appearance in 9 years. The Golden Knights go for what would be a stunning sweep over the President's Trophy winners on Tuesday night in Vegas. Chicago in 2013 was the last team to win the President's Trophy and the Stanley Cup in the same season. Colorado will try to become just the fifth team to win a series after falling behind 3-0. LA in 2014 was the most recent team to accomplish that in eliminating San Jose in their first round series. And maybe that would be a good poll question, but we could actually do it tomorrow for Country Thunder. Will this series end in a sweep? And forgive me as I just pop up the YouTube chat viewers. Thank you, everybody. But hey, Vancouver Eric, regarding my stories here. He says, RP, you're a Canadian sports icon. Nah. I am part of the furniture, is what it is. Part of the scenery. As my coach, Lisa, said, you're like that tree at the end of the corner that people drive by every day for 30 years, and then one day the tree's gone. They're like, where'd the tree go? For the summer, the tree gets planted for 3 months. Hang on. Nelson says, I think my brother-in-law picked him up from the airport last night. He's talking about the ball players. St. Louis guy? No, this guy was from Louisiana. There was a lot of ball players on the Bird. He was played at Nichols State. So, yeah. Anyways, it was a fun story. Oh, right, you're in Florida now, huh? Yeah. Back to the Vegas thing. Will they sweep? I don't know. Will they win the series? Pretty damn sure. They're rolling. And the other thing, it's kind of a statement on society or whatever you want to say, but the more success Vegas has, the more the hate's rising. You can see it from a mile away, like a burning stubble on the prairies. You can see it from a mile away. The hate coming out on the Golden Knights. We all know the Carter Hart thing, and now the John Tortorella thing, and how the Philadelphia Flyers should get compensation for Carter Hart because he walked away from them, and Tortorella's a jerk, and just oh my God, shut up. Better for me to just stay off social media. Tony from Cochrane writes in, he says, I think the Avs with hurting McKinnon and McCarr and goalie issues are McDone. Didn't predict a sweep, that's for sure. I saw a comment, though. That's the thing. If I went away from, like 1 out of 1,000 comments have a lot of interesting takes. You know, my mind just flashed, I'm sorry, to the massage I got in the Denver airport. Sorry, squirrel moment. This lady is working on me, and she says, her name's Ava, and she goes, we're going to work on somatic healing here right now. Do you know what that is? I said, as a matter of fact, I do. And she goes, have you ever heard of the book, The Body Keeps the Record? I'm like, or Your Body is a Record? I'm like, yeah, just saw that title today. It says your body stores all the trauma in it from a lifetime, and we're going to work it out of you. I just saw that today. Do. It's like you'd think it was 111 right now, or 1111. But anyways, Tony says he thinks the Avs are done. Well, again, nobody really saw that coming, and the series ain't over yet. But Vegas is rolling, and the more they roll, the higher the heat gets on them, and they don't care. As a matter of fact, I feel like the higher the heat gets, the more they get galvanized. What do they say? Those swords, when they go through the fire, they come out refined. They don't melt. And that's what's happening with the Vegas Golden Knights. So anyways, that'll be the poll question tomorrow. Will this thing end in a sweep? I'm going to say no. But the scary thing here, set it against Anaheim. Because I know my hockey. And we'll put this to Jared when he joins us in the next segment for Prairie Panels. But I said against Anaheim, when the Golden Knights stubbed, they're told, what they lose at home? 6-2 in game 2. So I said that won't happen again. That was the wake-up call for Vegas. And I said, and they still haven't played their best. And I don't think they've played their best in this series yet either. But it's like when they want to, they just flip a switch. And they've made the Colorado Avalanche look pedestrian. So I'll tell you what, if the haters are upset now, at the Cutter-Hawks, and the Mitch Marners, which is a whole other thing, and the Tortorellas and the Kelly McCrimmons, oh my God, wait till you see what's coming. And that, by the way, is another thing. Chris Knuckles-Nyland, probably the most well-received interview that we've done for sure so far in 2026, the year of the fire horse. And Knuckles didn't mean anything by it, but he goes, I'm happy for Mitch Marner. They hung that kid out to dry in Toronto. Oh my God. Cue the predictable belly aching and crying from Leafs fans, and to a certain extent, some media. And it's just so distasteful. Like, what more does the kid need to do? I will say this. They're throwing out all the stats and no-show performances by Marner and throwing out versus his salary in Toronto. So you're saying he was the only problem. Mitch Marner was the problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let me get this straight. He leaves, you still suck, and he's leading the Stanley Cup playoffs in scoring. But if you can't see that, you're never going to see it. And what we've learned in life is that's where you part ways and shake hands and wish that the other well bye, and you go and live your best life. And that's what Mitch Marner's doing in Vegas. Oh, my God. And that's what Knuckles-Nyland was saying. And he got these Leaf fans out there saying, kids, there's examples of CTE. Because he's pointing out stuff that you can't see. 902 518-3033. Jason in Red Deer writes in, he says, I also thought the San Jose Sharks were done against the Knights a few years ago until a stupid 5-minute major penalty cost them 3 goals and the series was won by the Sharks. Right. Well, I can tell you this. Anybody, we can sit here and talk about it ourselves. Nobody else is going to be talking about it. No, sorry. Nobody within that Vegas dressing room is going to be talking about it, the sweep, at all. They're not even talking about winning one game. They're talking about winning one period, maybe talking about winning one shift. That's how you win. The man who wins his morning wins his day. The man who wins his day wins his life. As I said, 902-518-3033. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events and resident Golden Knights fan, says, President's Trophy curse, right? It's a thing, and they got mad last year in Winnipeg when we brought that up. Don't shoot the messenger. Although I got so many bullet holes in me from just delivering the message, it's amazing I'm still alive. The picks. Well, hang on. Before we get to the picks, point 2 of the Quick Six Show topics. For the third time in as many rounds this NHL postseason, the Canadiens, Montreal Canadiens, earned a split on the road in the opening 2 games. The Habs split with the Tampa Bay Lightning in the opening round, then split with the Buffalo Sabres in the second round, and they opened the best-of-7 Eastern Conference Final Series with a win and a loss against the Carolina Hurricanes at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. What they're hoping to do different this time is win 2 straight in Montreal, beginning with tonight. I think they will win tonight. So there's your spoiler. Carolina at Montreal tonight, Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Final. You can catch it at Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. I'll take Montreal to win tonight with the energy of Centre Rebelle, the hockey gods behind them. I know they've had their struggles on home ice. Knuckles talked about that last Friday, but they can play clearly with Carolina. This should be a hell of a hockey game tonight, and I will say this. I heard somebody say in the gym a couple weeks ago that the Eastern time zone is God's time zone. No, it's not. The Mountain time zone is God's time zone. This is the best time. I'm in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada, Mountain time. Games start at 5. Hello. By the way, Jared Dumba coming in next, and his visit is brought to you by Prairie Panels. I can't wait for it. Are you building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Visit prairiepanels.ca. So, point 3, the Toronto Blue Jays, their skipper, John Schneider, said he's hopeful that his club avoided serious injuries to both righty Dylan Cease and all-star first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who were taken out of Sunday's 4-1 loss to the Pirates. Cease exited the game with left hamstring comfort. Meanwhile, Guerrero was removed during the bottom of the 5th with a right elbow contusion after he was hit with a pitch. First thing I thought when I saw that, Blue Jays fans are going to get what they want. They've been on Vladdy's ass all year. They're going to see what life's like without him here for a while. Really does change their perspective, doesn't it? 902-518-3033 is the text line. That's another thing. This afternoon, I'll be going to pick up my ride this summer from our friends at Western Dodge. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit them in the showroom or online at westerndodge.ca, and we'll be doing some live shows out of there this summer as the summer moves along. I love that place. I don't even know what they've given me to drive. It's like a Christmas here this afternoon as I go and get the vehicle from Western Dodge. Anyways, 902-518-3033 is the text line. Got some people that have written in about the CFL. That's hour 1 stuff. I feel like we talked a lot about it in hour 1. The poll question today, as always, is for Country Thunder, and it's, what do you care for more? The Memorial Cup, the World Hockey Championships, or neither? You got to be a pretty dyed-in-the-wool hockey person, I know, to be into either of those things, the Memorial Cup or the World Hockey Championships. For me, it is the Memorial Cup. That's point 4 of the Quick Six Show topics. Liam Lefebvre's second goal of the night in overtime, lifted the Chicoutimi Saguenay to a 3-2 victory over the Kelowna Rockets at the Memorial Cup Sunday in Kelowna. For our U.S. viewers, this is Canadian junior hockey. It's our college. Tonight, it's the Everett Silvertips against the Kitchener Rangers. Both teams are 1-0. From the World Hockey Championships, the other thing you can vote on in the poll. What are you more into? Macklin Celebrini of the San Jose Sharks capped a 4-goal third period, just 9:21 into the final frame as Canada surged past Slovakia 5-1 in Group A play at the World Hockey Championship. Canada will play the Czechia in their final game of the round robin Tuesday before the quarterfinals begin on Thursday. I'm not really into the World Hockey Championships. I know a lot of guys that have played in that tournament. They say it's nothing but a big party. And I've often thought, well, if you don't care, why would I? But the Memorial Cup is the creme de la creme de la creme of junior hockey. And it's by far what I'm into the most. And for God's sakes, I wouldn't be voting neither on that one. We'll be talking Stanley Cup playoffs with the Tulsa King, former Tulsa Oiler Jared Dumba, our NHL analyst, when we come back.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Just ahead of Jared Dumba with us to talk hockey, we've started a holy war David in Winnipeg writes in number 2. David number 2 says, "Hi, Rod. I'm loving the show. I do have to take issue with your hockey gods comment. As a man of faith, there is only one God, and he knows all, including hockey. No separate hockey gods. Great to see you back in Canada." Well, Jared, listen, as you and I both know, when it comes to the Supreme One, the all-knowing, the all-seeing, he doesn't bother himself with hockey game results or football results. That's why he has subcommittees of hockey gods and football gods and baseball gods. They decide the outcome of games and how things go. I hope that helps. Thank you, David number 2. Jared Dumba from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. How are you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you doing? I like that explanation, by the way. That was great.
No, I've put a lot of thought into it, and I think I've figured it out. And aside from having no Wi-Fi on my United flight from Denver to Regina, so I have no idea what was going on in the Vegas-Colorado game last night. I turned my phone on. You're like, "How about Vegas?" I'm like, What? You were as stunned as anybody at what went on last night. Vegas coming back from a 3-0 deficit to win 5-3. What was your take on the game?
Well, it was those are my favorite games to watch. I mean, you know, they're up and down all over the place. When it started, I thought Colorado just took it to him right away. Obviously, got up 2-0, and I thought, oh, you know what? Where's Vegas going to be? Vegas looked like they got the tire there. It was a disallowed goal. That one's kind of up for question. But right after that, looked like that sucked the life out of Vegas, and Colorado came down and made it 3-0, as we all watched. I thought that's it. Vegas, this is just not their night. Somehow they went in between periods. I don't know what Torts said. They came out, tied it up after that second period. In the third, I was thinking, this is anyone's game. What's going to happen here? And Vegas just kept the pedal to the metal. I mean, it doesn't hurt that Makar and McKinnon were both nicked up, the 2-star players for Colorado. But that third period, Vegas, man, who saw this coming? 3-0 for Vegas. Now it's starting to get a little bit interesting here in the playoffs. I can't wait to see what happens in tonight's game with Montreal.
Well, I think you are as much on the Vegas train as me, and I'm seeing this more and more noise about McKinnon and Makar being hurt. And I saw the first period of the game when Colorado dominated. It was actually kind of cool watching it in Denver with Colorado fans. I can't imagine what their mood was over the last 2 periods, but let's give the Golden Knights some credit. Those injuries aren't the reason Vegas is up 3-0, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, you've got to be able to win with injuries. Everybody's got injuries right now. I mean, if you're going to say that, well, look, Mark Stone's playing injured. Mark Stone hasn't been in the whole time. I mean, Everybody's got injuries right now. So you can't, unless you're taking out a Connor McDavid or McKinnon right out of the game. McKinnon was still able to play in the third. He's still better at 50%. He's still better than 75% of the league. So you still got him in the game. The Golden Knights they've been playing that stuffy style. How many people did you hear? We talked about this the last time I was on, how dangerous Vegas could be with how stuffy of a style they play. And, they got all those wily veterans, guys that know how to win as long as they get good goaltending, which they are now. Vegas has been doing a heck of a job. And how many people said, oh, Colorado's just going to steamroll Vegas. Vegas isn't even in the same league. But you got to wait until they get into the games because it's all about how the styles match up. And Vegas's style matches up, I think, quite perfectly against Colorado. Now the series is still could be a long way from over. You never know. But so far, Vegas has looked like the better team, and that's why they're up 3-0.
Well, and then there's the outside noise, which is like a little bit of the buffet. You can take as little bit of it as you want. If there's something you don't want you can leave it be. The outside noise, like for instance, some media saying, why didn't Edmonton sign Carter Hart? We all know why they did. Why doesn't Philadelphia get compensation for Carter? We all know why he did. Why is it Vegas not allowing Bruce Cassidy? We all know why they're not allowed. Like, it's just shut up. Or the Toronto people, and I know that you're a Leaf fan, so I apologize for that, but those that just can't let the Marner thing go. He sucked here. You think maybe it was the people around him? You love it? It annoys the hell out of me.
I love it. I absolutely love everybody. That's one of my favorite things is to watch everybody complaining about how classless of an organization Vegas is and how terrible, how they cheat. And you know what? Well, how come everybody else isn't doing it? Why is everybody else not making those moves? Anybody could have had Carter Hart. He wanted to go to Vegas. I think McCrimmon always gets his guy. I don't know what he says to them, but obviously it's working out there. I love all of the moaning and complaining from everybody, and the Leafs fans. You know what? I equate that. I was talking to somebody the other day. I equate that to, they say, well, how can Marner just all of a sudden get better? It can't be. You know what's wrong? It's kind of like, have you ever been in a workplace where you have a good boss and great managers, or you get into a place where you have a boss and managers and owners that just try and micromanage everything, and everything's under the microscope, and you're trying to go this way, but they're pulling you this way. To me, that's kind of like what it is with a lot of the players in Maple Leaf land. They know they got to work on something. They're trying to go one way, but the fans and the media are pushing for other stuff, and then their coaches and GMs even start letting that get in their head, and all of a sudden they're all over the place. They can't focus on what they know that they're supposed to do. And now Mitch Marner's in with a good boss and good management, and he's just playing free. They're just letting him be. You heard Tortorella say before the game, I don't even really have to coach. These guys know what to do. I'm just here to guide a little bit. And that's all you got to do when you get a good team like that. These guys are playing free. There's not anybody in their ear too much telling them what to do, just that little bit of guidance, just like a good boss and manager in any industry. And that's what we're seeing right now with the Vegas Golden Knights and Mitch Marner, in my opinion.
We'll switch over to the East Conference Final in a second, but viewer Jason says, so do the Knights sit Mark Stone out for Game 4 to give him rest and time to heal? If I can go first on that, I will say if he can play, you play him and you finish him off. You don't assume anything.
Yeah, no, if he's good to go, you go, you want to win the next game. You're not worried about, him getting rest until if you win the next game, you're going to have plenty of rest because Montreal, right. Carolina, I think is probably going to go 6 or 7. So he's going to have a good week of rest anyways. One extra night's probably not going to help, 1 or 2 extra nights if you're already getting a week or more. So yeah, you want to go for the throat. You want to end this 1-4 as soon as possible. It's going to be a tough task, even if McKinnon and McCarr didn't play, it would still be a tough task with the rest of the guys they got there. But you want to win as quick as possible.
The Vegas-Colorado series so far is a surprise. We'll all admit that. Golden Knights up 3-0. The East Conference Final, I don't think is a surprise. 1-1 going into Game 3 tonight in the Bell Center. Can you, Jared, because you've been through so many playoff wars and in the dressing rooms, what's the mindset of the two teams right now? Like, I would think there's a lot of pressure on Carolina. A little bit of that, oh no, not again.
Yeah.
Must have seeped in a little bit.
Oh, definitely. Carolina, the thing that could help them is because they have been through that and they know what it feels like to get to the conference final and then lose in 5, lose in 6, get beat in the conference final. They know what that feels like, and just that learning of not wanting to feel that feeling again can help them. And they've got a fantastic squad that can really help them. So they're just trying to give it their all. They're trying to learn from their past history and not make those same mistakes. If you're Montreal, I mean, this is the first time you're getting there. The best thing about Montreal is, and I don't mean this the wrong way, but they say young and dumb. You're young and dumb. You're doing things you don't even realize you're not supposed to be doing yet. And I've been on a part of a team like that with eight rookies in Oklahoma City one year, and we won the championship. And after we said, holy, how did we do that? We didn't know we weren't supposed to. And that's what a little bit of what Montreal's going on. They're playing free. They're not even supposed to be here anyway. They're playing with house money. So with Montreal, you just go out, do what the coach says, the best coach in the league right now, in my opinion. Marty St. Louis, watching the way he switches things on the fly in game, during the game, reminds me of an old coach, the best coach I ever had, named Ken McRae, ex-Leaf, by the way. It's just, for those young guys, it's beautiful to have, because as soon as they start getting a little off track, Marty St. Louis can bring them right back in. They can just play free. They got somebody watching over them and he lets them go. For Montreal, you're just trying to give it your all every game and soak up every little bit of information along the way. After watching the first two games, I'm not gonna lie, Roddy, I'm thinking Montreal in 6 right now. I think Carolina's only gonna win one more game. I think that Montreal will be tough to beat at home, even though they haven't been as good at home so far as they'd like to be. But yeah, basically both those teams are coming at it from completely different angles. The veteran team and the younger team that's at it for the first time.
I tell you what, sometimes I wonder if people listen to what the players say. I was listening to a clip of a Hab on NHL radio, and it alluded, like it was on the radio, so I couldn't see him. I think it was Brendan Gallagher. But whoever it was asked about this rebuild. They said, you went from the Stanley Cup final to last place overall, picking number 1, back up to the conference finals and the Final Four. Like, what happened? And he said, we drafted well. We made great personnel moves. He brought up the Kirby Doc trade. Imagine if they had Patrick Laine in the lineup. He goes, and we believe in our coach. And I think a lot of the Leaf fan hate is just sitting there looking at what Montreal did. Toronto just sits there continually spinning their tires, and Montreal pulled the Patriots really bink, bink, bink. Yeah. And I mean, part of all of that, go ahead. Your thoughts on that?
I was just gonna say, what Montreal's done, the personnel moves that they've made, and the drafting that they've done, Hughes and company there. That's I heard somebody I think it was an article actually I was reading the other day talking about, is it the best rebuild of all time? And it's right up there. Like, I'm trying to think of a better rebuild, somebody that did it better. When you look at the way that that's built and who's coming up, this Pickford kid next year, the Zurovsky from the kid in the KHL who did this year basically the same thing that Demidov did the year before at the same age. He's coming up. They still got guys coming up. They've got 3 goalies that could be number 1 goalies. They're going to get a big asset for one of those guys. These guys are going to be, and that's why last show I said I don't want Montreal to win this year, because I would love if they won this year. I was being facetious, obviously, but I just don't. I meant that because I don't want to get sick of them too soon. Because in 4 or 5 years, we're going to get real sick of Montreal being in the conference finals and the Stanley Cup finals. It's going to be that Tampa Bay thing where you love them at the beginning, and then you want to see somebody else get in. But they're too well built. They're going to be around for a decade. They could be around for 12, 14 years pushing conference finals.
Really interesting you say that, though, because viewer Jay in Winnipeg writes that he says Torts is 18-4-1 with Vegas. So I look at Montreal. They all came up together. Martin St. Louis took over right after that Stanley Cup final. He didn't coach them. And I remember saying on this show, I said, I hope he survives long enough to see the end of this rebuild, because a lot of guys don't. Right. But you look at Vegas, I'm not sure they're built. As a matter of fact, I know they're not. We don't know if Torts is even going to be back next year. Like somebody said the other day, they're like, oh, Vegas doesn't care about draft picks. They're proving that. I don't know. But Vegas is like the opposite Montreal. Montreal was built on draft picks. Vegas was not. Eichel, drafted by somebody else. Carter Hart, we know that story. Mitch Marner. My God, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, it's 2 completely different ways to build a team. One's a rebuild where you're building, through your draft picks and and stuff like that. And with Vegas, they're just we'll trade everything later away because we know that we're getting the right guys for right now. And there's a lot of pieces that they brought in that people said, wow, was that the right piece? I don't know if that's the best player they could have got. I look at a dub guy like Howden, bringing in a Howden. How big has Howden been for that team? He seems to, the big moments. He scored big goals. He's such a great player on that team. Every little piece that he's put together on that team has been so good. But yeah, completely different. It's nice to see 2 different ways of building a team going at it. Because if they was both built the same way, everybody'd be trying to do the same thing. This shows other GMs that, hey, you can be good in a number of different ways.
Viewer Nelson says Vegas is always built to win. Go out, get your guys, see success. Of course, Vegas is always good. More so than Montreal. I'm just saying they've done it differently. That's all that I'm saying. Don't get it twisted. Viewers want to know who you think. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and wait, with how ruthless Vegas is and how McCrimmon doesn't mind making the big decisions that are not popular, in a few years, if Vegas starts to, go down a little bit, you'll see a rebuild, a quick rebuild in Vegas. You'll see all the top guys just shipped right out as quickly as he can.
Oh,
Somehow,
yeah.
even the ones that have no trades, he'll find a way to get them to lift the no trade, and you'll see he'll completely change his tune, and people will go, oh, didn't see that coming.
Of course. Viewers want to know who you think will bring the torch out in Game 3 tonight. Again, I'll go first. I'm going to say Carey Price until it isn't Carey Price. Who do you think it'll be?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, there's so many. Who would I hope it would? Has Stefan Richer taken one out yet?
No, he'd be good. Actually, I should say I'll say
I'd like
Carey
to see
Price until
Stefan
it
Richer.
is Carey Price. Oh, it's a long, long list of guys.
Like there's a million guys you could get. Watch, and the reason why I say Stefan Richer, he used to be one of my favorite players. I just used to love that long stick and how smooth he was, how he could just bury that puck. I'd love to see what he's looking like these days.
I tell you what, if you want to talk about who we'd like to see, I would like to see it be Patrick Waugh, the King. But can you imagine the roof coming off that place if Patrick Waugh, number 33, came out with it? Of course, unfortunately, the team does not, and that's a story for another time. By the way, our poll question, just for fun, spits and giggles for you. It's brought to you by Country Thunder, of course, Saskatchewan's biggest party, coming to Craven, July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson, Creed, and the RP Show. What do you care for more, the Memorial Cup or the World Hockey Championship?
Memorial Cup. I mean, the Memorial Cup is seems like there's a lot more on the line with the World Hockey Championships. It's kind of fun to see how the guys do, but I don't think there's as much on the line as there is for some of these young guys. There's some young guys that are moving up draft rankings and starting to make a name for themselves. It's fun to see which of those young guys are going to step up, and then see who's the king of the castle. Who's going to win it, the WHL, the OHL, or the Q. It's a big battle. I think it's a lot bigger deal, in my opinion, than the World Hockey Championship.
Way bigger. However, I think leading the poll is the World Hockey Championship from our viewers, and a lot of people are into that. I'm just not, but that's fine. For our U.S. viewers, it's Canada's version of the Frozen Four, but for junior hockey, which they just had in Vegas, a month ago, 6 weeks ago? I don't know, time flies. But I will tell you this, Jared, I love being back in Moose Jaw. Everybody knows that. It's a hockey town. They're talking hockey all day, every day. And you know that. You're going to have to come over for a coffee, an omelet, whatever the hell comes up. There's a lot of great things to do over here.
Both. We're going to do both of those, my friend.
All right, good. Well, sorry I stood you up Saturday night, but you can blame United Airlines for that. Things happen. The travel gods got in the way, but we got all summer to link up.
To be expected with today's flight traveling by air. Seems to happen every day, but not a big deal. We'll get that coffee and omelet in soon enough.
Okay, by the way, who wins tonight? We got 15 seconds. Carolina, Montreal. Who you got? Let me just write it down.
Montreal. I'm going Montreal
with
a 5-1 win.
Great minds, great minds. Okay, thank you, Jared. Great job. The Tulsa King, Jared Dumba, our pro hockey analyst. We'll be right back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way. You're watching the RP Show, YouTube Live podcast, Silver State Sports, WQVZ.
For a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center.
Now.
The Gene Simmons Band performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Sask Tigs.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Summer is well underway, and we are at the Golden Ticket Sports Center in Moose Jaw. Hey, what do we got here? Elevate your game at Golden Ticket Sports Center, where passion meets performance. GoldenTicketSportsCenter.com has all the information you would like to know. In the throes of the Stanley Cup playoffs, ain't nothing going on with the NFL, so we're not going to invent things to talk about there like everybody else is. And we spent all of hour one, not all, but a good chunk of hour one talking about the CFL preseason results. But let me say it again out loud. CFL preseason results, we're not going to get into them here. On this sports update, on this Memorial Day, we're just days away from opening night in the Western Canadian Baseball League. That's a big reason why I'm here. Moose Jaw's Miller Express will be practicing all week at Ross Wells Park. We call it the Ross. In preparation for the Thursday night season opener in Swift Current against the 57s. The Millers' home opener is Friday night as they welcome the Regina Red Sox. This is NCAA baseball, everybody. It dawned on me as we went to air today that none of our Nevada viewers on Silver State Sports know that I even do this. A lot don't even know where this is, so buckle up. I broadcast baseball in the summer on Flow College. I actually stole this sports update from DiscoverMooseJaw.com. They do such a great job, so I'm just giving them credit. The Vegas Golden Knights are one win away from the Stanley Cup Final after a come-from-behind 5-3 win over Colorado Sunday night. Vegas now with a 3-0 series lead. Tonight it's Montreal hosting Carolina in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Final. The series tied 1-1. Team Canada improved to 5-1 at the Men's World Hockey Championship with a 5-1 win over Slovakia Sunday. Canada will play Czechia in the final game of the preliminary round Tuesday. For the U.S. viewers, welcome to Canada. It doesn't say how USA did. They don't care. I should have looked that up. But I don't really care about the tournament, period. The Toronto Blue Jays lost 4-1 to Pittsburgh Sunday. lost Dylan Cease and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. an injury in the process. Jays are home tonight to the Miami Marlins. Maybe I should have worn my Miami gear. I can do that tomorrow. 902-518-3033 is the text line number. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Let's get the comments in the rest of the way. Viewer takeover the rest of the way here on Silver State Sports. Tony from Cochrane writes in. I think Tony's aware this is not at all what we were talking about. He says the torch was passed from Crosby to Celebrini, Sidney Crosby to Macklin. That's not the torch we're talking about. We're talking about the torch in Montreal that they bring out before the games. And I will be parked in front of the television tonight. It's interesting that he would say, Jared, our hockey analyst, would say, Stéphane Richer, number 44, Montreal, Canadiens de Montreal. There's just so many that still live in Montreal. One thing I found, and you Canadian team viewers tell me if I'm right or wrong, there's not a lot of former Jets that still live in Winnipeg. There's not a lot of former Oilers that still live in Edmonton. There's a lot of former Flames that live in Calgary. I think there's a lot of former Canucks in Vancouver, a lot of former Leafs in Toronto. But there are a lot of Habs to choose from. But Carey Price, he's my pick. The will-be Hall of Fame goalie of the Montreal Canadiens. He's living in Kelowna, from what I understand. Thank you for the update, Tony. My God, where would I be without you? He says, USA beat Hungary today. Or did they beat Hunger today? USA beat Hungary today, but remain in 4th place in their pool. Hungary has a hockey team? Come on, I'm not the only one thinking that. By the way, Tony, if you were tuned in and anybody in the southern Alberta region, looks like we will be coming out to Calgary June 20th weekend for a CFL weekend when the Saskatchewan Roughriders visit the Calgary Stampeders. I'm not at liberty to say why. We'll just be there. And I'm kind of thinking about where we would do a live show. I think if we're going to be doing a live show from Calgary, it's got to be Overtime Hockey Lanes, right? Which, by the way, Overtime's coming up next segment for Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Don't know yet. Bracelet says 1 day at a time. Got set up here in Moose Jaw. Got everything set up. Can you go for supper? You want to come out to the lake? You want to do this? I'm like, I haven't even dropped my bags. So it's going to be good. We'll get there when we get there. Any final questions and comments? We'll get to them next in Overtime right after this on Silver State Sports.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. We head into the final segment, proudly brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. As I say, it's an amusement park for hockey players. As they say, it's where skill and fun collide. Check them out at 28th Street Northeast. There's always something to do there for the kids. And sadly, nobody seems to be playing road hockey anymore, but you can always play the greatest game in the world, hockey indoors at Overtime Hockey Lanes. Baseball has batting cages. Golf has driving ranges. Why would hockey not have shooting lanes? Well, they do in the hockey capital of Calgary, Alberta. By the way, I have not mentioned this, and I should have. Thank you for the servicemen and women who have served, are serving, protecting our freedom in America on this Memorial Day. A thank you from the RP show and the freedom that they've afforded me as a guest of the country. Again, for those that are watching, thank you. The Sports on Tap, brought to you by Pump Jacks Cathedral and Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early and stay late. Man, we got a lot of places to visit here in Canada this summer. The Mad Greek Eatery, Pump Jacks, obviously sponsors of this show. Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Final tonight. Carolina at Montreal. The series is tied 1-1. Both Jared Dumba and I have the Habs picked to win the game tonight. I've got Carey Price picked to bring the torch out. Olé, olé, olé. He's got Stéphane Richer. I feel like as hockey grows and grows and grows in Vegas, these types of traditions, there will be a lot of alumni hanging around Vegas. I don't think there is a lot of alumni in Vegas from what team's only been there 10 years. It's interesting to see what they are going to roll out in the years ahead. And on the hockey note, Tony corrects. He says Hungary, USA in 5th. Oh, USA is in 5th. Let's see what I'm saying. There is zero reason why the USA should be 5th. They just won the gold medal in the Olympics. And I understand this is not best on best, as they like to say, but I don't think the players take it seriously. I just don't. That's what they tell me. So why would I take it seriously? Why am I bringing this up? It's the poll question today for Country Thunder. And they're inviting all of our U.S. viewers up. Pretty good deal with the U.S. Canadian dollar exchange. Biggest party this summer is in Craven, Saskatchewan this summer, featuring Lainey Wilson and Creed in the RP show. Get your tickets at countrythunder.com/SK. Poll question: what do you care for more, the Memorial Cup, the World Hockey Championships, which Tony's referring to, It's all the best players of the teams that didn't make the playoffs or are still aren't still playing. What? The Memorial Cup is the best junior teams in Canada. It's like the Frozen Four in the States. Clearly, that's the better tournament. And tonight, it's a battle of 1-0 teams in Kelowna, British Columbia, Everett versus the Kitchener Rangers out of the Ontario Hockey League. And how about the NBA? As I said way back at the start of the show, I didn't get hooked on the NBA, but I became an NBA fan by going to a neutral site game in Saskatoon in 1992-93, back when there was a pro team there called the Saskatoon Slam. So the Minnesota Timberwolves and Dikembe Mutombo take on Craig Elo and the Atlanta Hawks. Became a fan ever since. So I keep my eye on it. We just don't talk about it here on this show. We talk about CFL, NHL, NFL. It works. What am I? I'm no basketball expert. I just like watching it. And so to that vein, tonight is Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Final in the NBA. New York Knicks at Cleveland, and New York goes for the sweep. It's really, really interesting to just see the sports fan dichotomy in all the places that I live and those folks down there in South Florida, which, I'd be excited when Vegas gets an NBA team too, because it is a great league. But I'm finding, tell me if I'm wrong, but Knicks fans are like Leaf fans and Dallas Cowboys fans, which I don't include myself in this, but they think they're the greatest team every year. They're routinely proven that they are not. But finally, the Knicks are doing something and looking like they're going to win well, they still got a long ways to go. And the deeper you get into the playoffs, the teams you beat, that you face, get better. But again, the Knicks are a win away from sweeping Cleveland in that Eastern Conference Final in the NBA, and I'll probably be flipping around on that. Interesting results from the poll for Country Thunder. Thank you, Jason and Red Deer, for pointing them out. Said, what are you more into? The NBA, the NBA. What are you more into? The Memorial Cup, Canada's Frozen Four, or the World Hockey Championships? He says 51% say the Worlds, 49% say the Memmer. And interestingly enough, in my world, which is a wonderful world, people are talking about both. And come Thursday, when we fire up the Western Canadian Baseball League, will be a lot of people in my world talking baseball again. I just laughed more than anything. I was the very last one off the plane in Canada last night, going through customs, and the guy looked at my thing. He said, "Oh, Rod, you're living in Florida now. Good for you, man." Okay. He's good. Anything to declare? No. I just want to get to my bed. Paul in Humboldt, saving it till late. Paul in Humboldt writes in, he says, I'm cheering for Jared Bednar. There's still a chance. The coach of the Colorado Avalanche and the pride of Humboldt, Saskatchewan. Which, interestingly, he was born in Yorkton, but calls Humboldt his hometown. Oh, these Stanley Cup playoffs. Fantastic, haven't they? I'm really not too sure what's coming down the pipe tomorrow, other than Scruffy will be with us. I'm thinking maybe dabbling on football with that football guest that can actually talk hockey. Who do you think I'm referring to? Take a guess. Well, as yet, we don't have a guest book for tomorrow, but that's okay. Whoever it is, I know will be great. And a flood of stories just came into my mind. Until those, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow. So thanks for being with us, everybody. Please visit our sponsors. Be good to yourselves, and we'll see you tomorrow here on the RP Show on Silver State Sports and WQVZ.
Dad,